Because people today do not get the words of God. They only get little bits and pieces here and there in sound bites. They have an attention span of about like this. And you know what I believe is the main culprit of doing that? And because their attention span and stuff has been destroyed from what they used to be. The kids and stuff were more knowledgeable back then. They sat down, they were able to learn. By the 5th grade, they knew what our 12th graders knew and more. They understood math and all else. Not everybody's a mathematician, but on general, as a whole, they understood more than what they do today. And the main culprit, I believe, is not the home has been destroyed, but it's that stinking TV, that television, that Coliseum in a bowl, that glass toilet bowl. That's the thing that's done it. It messes with the young developing minds. It causes their minds not to develop. My 3-year-old son, my 7-year-old son, when he was 3, wanted to sit down and have me show him or read to him the Bible. I would ask, you want me to read you something? You want me to read you the Bible? I said, yeah. And the Bible has no pictures in it. Why would a child want that? Number one, attention. That I cared enough to spend time with him. 2, because I sat there and I would go like this with my fingers. I read through the Bible and he would try to follow along. That kept his attention in the book. He didn't have to have pictures. But when the next year, and then that time frame, his mother did not have cable as far as I remember. So he didn't get to watch TV all the time. And I don't know about videos or whatever, but for whatever reason he was not exposed as much to TV. The next year they get cable and he starts getting exposed to TV, and his mind starts changing. And now we struggle with, he's fairly decent and he does learn, and he is pretty smart actually, in spite of that. Smart to my shirt. But would he be better? Further along now? If he'd have been without TV? I believe absolutely yes. And there are studies out there, if you want to know, if you care to know, it's out there. You can find it. That show that a child's developing mind in their young years that watch TV, it shorts out their development. Male and female. 3, 4, 2 years, I don't know, somewhere in that before 5 years old, before that time frame, their minds are developing. That's the most developing stage in their minds. TV game. It's not only just what you watch on there, it's what it does. It mesmerizes you. And then you got the commercials you got to deal with, and all the lighting that they put on there, and the flashy images and stuff like that. They know exactly what they're doing. The Hollywood producers, all those people, they've done tons of studies for a long time. The people who created the TV didn't have a TV in their home. They found out what it was going to be used for and what the dangers of it after they created it. They didn't want nothing to do with it. So they're smarter men and wiser than most of us are today. So anyway, Christ wants to present us. We water in the Word, or we wash by the Word. We get washed by the Word. It waters, it cleanses us, that we may be presented without wrinkle, spot, blemish. Read the Bible, so that you may be clean. So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies. He that loveth his wife loveth himself. Does a worldly man love his wife? Let's draw a contrast and comparison here. Lost couple, married couple. Is the lost man going to be able to love his wife as Christ died for the church? Has Christ loved the church? No. I don't think so. No, sir. He's not going to be able to do it. the saved couple? Is the husband going to be able to love his wife as Christ loved the church? Of course he is. Because he, of all people, between the two, would know how Christ loved the church. It may not come as soon as he gets saved, but it will be there the more he stays in the Word. This whole key to this whole next context, or the context of the husband and wife, and the contrast and the comparisons that Paul draws, has to do, it starts out with the what? The washing of water by the Word. That is the beginning of it. So then you come down. You have, he says, for no man ever yet hated his own flesh, but nourished and cherisheth it, even as the Lord the church. Well, how does the Lord cherish? How does he cherish the church? How does he feed the church? How does he nourish it? By the watering of his Word. And you could further expound on that. I mean, he meets our needs, clothing, food, health. You allow God to be the master of all areas of your life, your health, your wealth, your physical needs, your clothing, your food, your refrigerators, your shelves, your books and your literature and all those things. You let God take care to be the master of all that. You'll be one of the wisest men around, and the most sought after, the most looked at at. And God will use you, and people will say to God, you will give honor. They will give honor. They will honor your God, and you as well. And you're going to get blasphemers and people that's going to be voicing anger and distrust and maliciousness. But in their heart of hearts, when they do that stuff, you know that God is dealing with them. That is what caused that stuff to come out. Because God has pricked their hearts. It's the same thing that God did with Paul. When Paul went and persecuted the church, you know why he persecuted the church? Because the things that they did, God used to prick his heart and to convict him. That's what came out. And that's exactly what comes out of other people. That's why they are malicious. That's why they say the things they do. That's why they spit on you when you're preaching, street preaching. That's why they say harmful and hurtful. It's not really harmful because it don't really mean anything if you're in Christ. Unless you're preaching, if you're there in the flesh. Hopefully not. But that's why they say the things they say. Because what you say and what you represent and how you act and how you dress pierces them in the heart. That's why it's important to give thought and occasion, time, to how we dress, how we think, to the music that we listen to, and whether it's Christ honoring or if it's honoring you against flesh. If it's got the devil's drumbeat in it, I don't care what kind of Christian words, Bible words, hymn music you put to it, it's still the devil's. He's claiming because he put that beat in there for a reason, and your flesh will beat and move and march with that beat. It is the Pied Piper's beat. It belongs to the devil. He is the master musician. He's the master musician next to God. God made him first to be not an angel. He's a cherub. Or made him to be a cherub. He's not a cherub now. God transformed him and changed his shape. Changed who he is. But he had musical instruments built into him. That's where that junk comes from. He knows how to corrupt music.